Hi everyone, how's it going? In today's video I'll be flying the P-47, but I'm sure you already guessed that based on the video title. Anyways, I'll be putting a link in the description to this skin I've got on my P-47D-28. It's called Breaking Point. I like it a lot, so if you're interested you can go check it out. But I've been noticing a disturbing habit of mine lately. And that is that I've been flying far too aggressively, for a number of reasons. But that kind of playstyle can lead to some interesting dogfights, but overall it's been leading to worse scores and far more deaths than my normal, safer way of fighting. And I figured I should probably force myself to stop being so reckless. So I started looking for an aircraft that would force me back into my old playstyle if I wanted to succeed, and the fighter that I chose was the P-47. Its climb rate is, well, below average. Its maneuverability is not great, but it can dive, and it hits pretty hard with its 850 cals when it hits. Also, the machine guns seem to have been increased in effectiveness since patch 1.49 or patch 1.70 or whatever you want to call it, the most recent patch. And also, I think the P-47 is kind of overlooked, and I don't think that's fair. I think the Jug is a fantastic aircraft, and that it really doesn't get the respect it deserves. So I'm going to be using them quite a bit more from here forth, I think. Try and show people that you can actually do well in the P-47. It just requires a certain playstyle. Now, granted, it's not good in every situation. It's not a do-everything kind of aircraft like the KI-84 is, for instance. But enough of that. Since the P-47 has more of a reserved playstyle because of its poor rate of climb and turning circle, it means you're going to want to motor around the battlefield, staying as high and fast as you possibly can. And when you make an attack, you're going to want to not maneuver after the target if the aircraft that you're following tries to turn and evade you, for instance. Like here on this 0, I don't actually try to pull to get a shot. Instead, I use the speed I built up to point my nose up into the sky and climb away. Now, the reason you don't really want to turn after maneuvering aircraft is because the P-47 bleeds speed like a stuck pig if you maneuver. And that speed and energy you build up in a dive is basically the lifeblood of the P-47. And you don't want to give that up. Because a low and slow P-47 is a dead P-47. Now, for instance, there's a 0 right in front of me. It's going to be passing to the right now. I could maneuver to get in behind him, but more than likely I would bleed quite a lot of speed and energy doing so. And if for some reason he didn't notice me and I was able to get a shot on him, but didn't manage to kill him, and I tried to zoom away, he would more than likely be able to follow me up in that climb and shoot me down. So that's something you want to be aware of in the P-47. You don't want to go making bad attacks if you can help it. Now, obviously some situations necessitate attacking in a less than optimal manner, but most situations do not. So you just want to think about the attacks before you make them. You know, is this option going to put me in a bad position if I miss, or if another aircraft comes along, for instance? If yes, then just stay at altitude unless you have a friendly to help. You know, there's no reason, or there's very few reasons that you have to make bad attacks. And that is something that I've been struggling with lately. Like I said, I've been far too aggressive, and it's just not been paying off, so I have to go back to my old, more passive playstyle. And I think playing the P-47 has helped quite a bit. And there's kill number 2 on a rather unsuspecting A6M3. And now you saw me pull in front of that buffalo that I passed over to get a kill on that zero. And I normally don't like doing that. However, I didn't think a buffalo would actually be able to catch a zero in a straight line, so that's why I went after him. Now after that, I climbed a bit, and as I'm looking around, I notice an aircraft below and behind me. He's actually quite a bit lower, so I'm able to just turn, gain some altitude, and come back down behind him. And this guy was totally oblivious, apparently. Or maybe he just missed me coming. I don't know. But the point is, he doesn't see me until I start shooting at him. And I actually use stealth ammo here, but I switched to tracer rounds because I feel they're a bit more effective than stealth. Dem sparkles though. Anyways, the Ki-43 that I was shooting at dives away, but you'll notice as I was firing on the Ki-43, we pass head-on by a zero, who turns around to follow me. Instead of following the Ki-43 down, and sandwiching myself between that and the A6, I used the energy that I built up in the dive to climb away. Unfortunately, I managed to climb through a cloud, which is not good for visibility. Now the zero starts turning defensively, so instead of following him down to get a shot, I stay up high and continue looking for the zero and waiting for an opportunity to strike, deciding not to make a bad attack. So here I decide to roll in behind the zero, who starts maneuvering again, although I feel like I can build up enough speed here in a dive to safely get away if I miss all my shots, which I do. Zero barrel rolls and gets in behind me, but we're easily able to outpace him and climb away. And here's where things get kind of interesting. You can see him firing very long range, either out of frustration or desperation. And people who are frustrated or desperate tend to not always do the optimal play here. So I turn in rather aggressively at the top of my climb. And, just like I figured, he begins to stall out. We get a nice easy shot on him as he hangs on a propeller. And we take out his central gear leg. And as you may know, taking out the central gear leg makes the plane explode a few seconds later. But yeah, 3 kills in the P-47D-28 against Japanese. I do feel like the D-series P-47s are a bit under-tiered. I'd like to see them fighting more historical opponents. These aircraft came out in sometime in 1944, I believe, or at least the bubble cockpit versions. I believe the B and C variants of the P-47 were out in 1943, so battle rating of 4.3 or 4.7 would probably be fine for those, but I would be happy to see the P-47D models be moved up to 5 or 5.3. Anyways, moving on. I'm in my new toy, Bostwick's P-47M. This aircraft is an absolute joy to fly. It kind of removes one of the cons about the P-47, and that being the poor rate of climb. This thing climbs like a freaking rocket ship. I think between 4,300 and 4,500 feet per minute is not out of the question when climbing this aircraft. So if you see an aircraft orbiting the battlefield at 5,000 or 6,000 meters or higher, there's a good chance that you might be seeing a P-47M. Initially I see a German aircraft below me. I went to make a dive, but he ended up turning, so again I just avoid making the attack. But I knew there was a friendly in the area here, and I wanted to help out as much as possible. So I slotted in behind one TA-152, put a burst into him, and he goes down in flames. I realize now that I actually attacked the first TA-152 that the P-51 behind me was on, instead of the one that was on him. Although, I think I can be forgiven for that, because the one that I saw was the only one that I saw initially. And I can't really attack aircraft that I can't see. But, go down and light the second TA-152 on fire. So, as I climb away from the first fight, I notice another aircraft above and to my right. It's more than likely an enemy aircraft, but even if it's a friendly, it's still better to be safe than sorry, so I turn in to go see what it is. Now, since I was in a climb, my airspeed is kind of low, so as I head towards the sky, I push my nose down to gain some speed to maneuver if it is indeed an enemy. He passes over me, and I thought originally that this was a 109K4, and that he would be able to outperform me, outclimb, outturn me, and so forth, so I felt incentivized to go head on with him. Because if you are in the disadvantage in a head-on, both you and your enemy can point your guns at each other, so neither of you have an advantage, basically, besides who can shoot better. It comes down to a contest of aim. I did, however, end up realizing that this is a TA-152, just like the first two aircraft I ran across, and that I can definitely outperform him. The TA-152 only shows its true potential at very high altitudes. And it's kind of funny because the P-47M also is only quite fast at high altitudes. The main difference is that the P-47 can actually maintain quite a good rate of climb at low altitudes, and the TA-152 cannot. Now for the final engagement, I notice some fighting going on over the town. Two aircraft descending in quite close proximity with another coming behind. Now I know there's only two enemies remaining, so the first two are likely to be an enemy and a teammate, and the final one is more than likely an enemy, which it turns out to be. Once again, the P-51 is sandwiched between two Focke-Wulfs, so I line up on the second one this time and light him on fire. And if you've been keeping track, I have set every German aircraft in this match on fire at least once. I think that was 4 kills from 5 fires, or 5 fires and 4 kills. Something like that. But yeah, Bostwick's P-47M. I would definitely give this aircraft a 10 out of 10. It's a lot of fun to fly, and I highly, highly recommend it. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe I'll catch you next time. And until then, happy hunting.